Alrighty, so thank you so much, Felicia, for joining me today for this conversation. So, my name is Jadira Vicencio. I am taking this MOL class, and I'd love for you to introduce yourself.
Okay. Hi, my name is Felicia Olvera. I work for the Illinois Student Assistance Commission, and Jadira asked me to be a part of this interview.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So, we can just start off. Can you tell me a little bit about your role in the organization that you work in?
Yes, so I am a community outreach worker. I help out the high school seniors, also community members that are looking to go into that post-secondary education field. So anyone that's looking to go into like a 2-year like Blackhawk, or looking to go to a 4-year like Western or Augie. My main role is to help students get their FAFSA complete, because in the state of Illinois, it is a graduation requirement for high school seniors to complete. So that is really one of my 3 main objectives. I would say the other one is delivering information to people in my area, like in my district. So I cover Rock Island, Henry, and Stark County. And I would say probably the other objective is really just being that outreach person, connecting someone. If I can't help them, I find someone else that could. I always try to find the answers to their questions.
Wonderful. That sounds amazing. Can you describe an adaptive leadership challenge that you're currently facing in your workplace?
Yeah, so I would say with my position, I think a challenge that we all have is just making sure that the correct information is getting to people, ensuring that we are there as a free resource to the entire community. But of course, we do work with high schools particularly. There are students that are, I would say, maybe a little hesitant on completing what's called the free application for federal student aid, or the FAFSA. And, whenever we come in contact with students maybe in that field, or kind of with that mindset, and they're like, well, I'm not going to college. And it is very important to me to tell them that it's not about a 2-year time at Blackhawk or a 2-year time at Augustana. It's also required, or it also entails going to MPI, maybe receiving your certificate. See, honestly, receiving any sort of education beyond high school. I would say that was something that we definitely try to work on the most. And I feel that the way that we get into that, maybe more solutions into it, is constantly being there, constantly letting counselors know, hey, just keep students aware. Hey, we have this going on. Hey, we also host workshops with community-based organizations as well. So as long as we host our events and continue to be there as a support system, that's the best that we can do.
Yeah, so it sounds like the adaptive challenge that you're facing at work right now is getting the right information out to the students. It sounds like there's a lot of different channels that these students can go into, and you just want to make sure that they're getting told the correct information, giving them alternative options especially for students that are looking for more than just college, or just letting them know that there's those alternative routes. And it sounds like what you've been doing, or kind of how your organization works, is that you're just sending out constant reminders as well. So with that situation, what makes that more of an adaptive leadership challenge instead of like a technical challenge?
Technical is whenever there's like one solution, correct? Like one thing is super simple, we get this taken care of. Adaptive, well, I think what's so nice about education is that it's constantly evolving. So everyone has to adapt to it in its own ways. I find it really interesting because the high schoolers, the seniors that I see, they have Chromebooks that they get to take home. They take their standardized testing, their ACTs, they take it online now. Everything's constantly changing, and I find it just so completely interesting. So while they're changing, education is changing, our job changes too, because every time maybe a problem comes up, such as, let's say, for instance, just FAFSA in general. 2 years ago, the FAFSA did come out a lot later. Usually it is October 1st that it's set to come out. But 2 years ago, there was a bit of a difference. It came out a couple months later. So I didn't have that role then. However, I was someone that had to use FAFSA. So I know that I had to constantly be a part of it. And now that I am in the role that I am, I always have to ensure that, okay, if this is the problem that you have, there are so many solutions that I can come up with. And if I don't have the solutions, or if I don't have a way to kind of navigate them in the best way in completing their applications, whether that is FAFSA or also college applications. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. I also help the seniors with their college applications, kind of look them over, ensure everything kind of looks in the best direction that maybe the college would want. Education is not a black or white route. Like I said, it's post-secondary education is completely broad, and it's really important that students know which route that may be best for them. And also, it's really important too that maybe a student may think that a 4-year university or college would be great for them. And then maybe they start and they're like, ooh, you know what? Actually, I can't do this. They're still able to reach out to us too. So like, it's just constantly changing, which I believe that makes it more adaptive into the adaptive challenge that you're talking about.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing is that the adaptive leadership challenge is difficult because things are constantly changing. So not just like the format, but like the deadlines for different tests, for the for FAFSA, for all these different deadlines that are coming up are constantly changing. And then also not just the technical sides of like the actual programs changing or the test changing, but also the students' minds themselves are changing too, from when they start college and then they don't really realize it's something that they want to do. And so constantly there's change, and it sounds like what you're in your position, you constantly need to be on top of that. So how are people in the organization, in your organization, responding to this adaptive leadership challenge?
I guess I would say, so it's really interesting because the coworkers that I have that are at my level, my position, as I mentioned, community outreach worker, we are also part of a group called the ISAC Core. And the ISAC Core is a group of first generation college students that are really do support the advocating and what's another word for support? I guess I don't even say mentors, because I also do believe that mentors is a title that someone else gives to someone that they believe is a mentor. But when it comes to more of a leadership, we are the people that more closer in age. We're people that have just recently gone through this experience. So it's just someone that they can kind of maybe get a better perspective as to someone that has been in college, that graduated from college or even started college 10 or so years ago. So the people in the ISAC course specifically, can you reiterate your question again?
Yeah, of course. How are people in the organization responding to really having to be on top of these deadlines, having to be on top of the changes that are constantly happening? That is kind of, yeah, like the challenge that you guys are seeing.
Mm-hmm. So, well, honestly, I know that ISAC core members, we put our time into the office hours that we set up with our own counselors, with the high schools that we go to. We set up our times with the events. Really, fall semester is really dedicated of getting them their student aid.gov account created, getting their FAFSA completed, because also FAFSA is a FAFSA grants and all that kind of stuff. Financial aid, financial aid is the first come first serve. So we have to ensure that we students are aware of that starting something sooner could be a great way of getting financial aid if they're in need. It comes down to so many other criteria. That's another thing, is like, yes, it is a free application for everyone, but also Illinois has what's called the Illinois Alternative Application for students that don't necessarily qualify for the FAFSA. They both have their own criteria set for it. We have to ensure that we know exactly where it comes from, and that how we get our information are people that are on the professional development team. Those people are very much on top of it, and they relay it by having different webinars. We also, every summer, this is my first year, but this is what I'm told. Every summer, for a few weeks in person, or excuse me, for a few weeks virtual, we'll be going through the entire kind of synopsis of our entire job duties. And then 3 weeks in person, we'll be heading up to a university in Illinois and we'll do in-person training. It's really nice to get more hands-on experience right before you get into that field. They really do prepare us with all these information. We have so many presentations that we give to people. It's something also that they feel is beneficial. So that's how ISAC core members can stay informed, is by the people that are above us giving the correct information.
So they're offering these trainings that are helping you and your team stay on top of all these deadlines. Is that correct?
Exactly. The professional development team does a really great job at preparing ISAC core members to be a part of the community outreach worker field, really be well informed. And what's also nice too is that a lot of our webinars are recorded as well. So it's really great that we can always go back if we've missed something. Oh, okay. We can just go back into our share drive. We can just go back and maybe reword it. And also what's really nice too is we now have a new coordinator, but if there was ever a time that I was, I came across an experience that I was totally new to and I did not have the answer to it, you can ask one of your coworkers, like in our district, because how we set it up in at ISAC, there's 7 districts in Illinois, and I'm in Region 1, so that's the northwestern area. Anyways, we have a whole group chat, so everyone's always willing to help. But I had this wonderful coordinator who really helped me in a lot of the times that I just was struggling with either students' questions or maybe family questions or even counselors. So yes, you are correct.
Wonderful. Great. So to conclude, what I learned from this conversation is that the adaptive leadership challenge that you're experiencing truly involves communication and the changing of deadlines, the changing of students' minds. It is an adaptive challenge because it really cannot be solved with a simple fix and requires changes in thinking, behavior, and relationships, like the relationship that you have within your own team, with these professional development teams that help you guys stay on it, relay informations, and also the trainings and the webinars that you get from the company as well, to help all of you guide these students. The possible ways forward that you described was also making sure that you guys stay on it. Like you said, joining these webinars, joining these trainings. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for sharing that experience and that insight with me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for asking me to be a part of this.
Wonderful.